It's time for Dragon Ball. Hey listeners, welcome to a new episode of Podcast Demastered. I'm your host, Ethan Meyer, and I'm joined by only one friend today, and that is Wade.
Hello.
Because Chelsea decided she needed a vacation during our Dragon Ball episode, of all episodes, to not be here. It's the ultimate Dragon Ball episode.
So we hope you enjoy, Chelsea.
Yeah, we know she's listening. Waited anticipation.
She's just, this whole episode, she's gonna be like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Yeah, she's gonna have the same experience with this episode as I did listening to the Kingdom Hearts episode. So,
excellent.
I guess to dive right into this, I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time explaining what Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super or GT. We're not gonna get into that.
Yeah, we're not talking about that.
Yeah, if you don't know the show or familiar with it, the internet exists. So that's your best.
It spanned so many decades already. Like
yeah.
You know, there aren't any Dragon Balls in it. Like, you know, that's not a thing. It's Dragon Balls or something else. They're not what you think they are.
Yeah, they're not actual dragon genitalia. So if that was what you were looking for, I'm sorry.
You're in the wrong podcast.
Yeah. I'm sure there's fan fiction for that.
If it exists, then...
If I can will it into existence, there's already a website for it.
Yep.
So.
That's the internet rule.
Yeah. So what we're going to do instead is we're kind of just going to dive into how we both kind of came to find Dragon Ball, how we started watching it, like stuff like that. And then we have kind of four categories we're going to get into today. We're going to each talk about our favorite transformation throughout the show. We're going to list out our top 5 characters. We're going to discuss if we had the Dragon Balls, what wish we would make. And then at the end of the show, we're going to do our Mount Rushmore for the Sagas. And that part of the show is going to be up for debate for fans because our saga list may be different than yours. And if that's the case, if you have a problem with it, you can always email us. So...
as an issue of challenge from
exactly.
himself.
Yeah, exactly. Find me on Twitter. So, Wade, why don't you go ahead and tell the listeners how you came to find Dragon Ball in your life?
Man. Well, so long time ago, like 3rd grade, 4th grade, I couldn't tell you when. One of my closest growing up friends, he would tell me for so long about Dragon Ball Z, and at the time growing up, like I didn't have any cable, and the internet like wasn't a thing yet, not really. So he would just tell me like what was happening in the show, like what Dragon Ball was, and I was just like, this sounds like crazy. What is this? And I remember getting to spend a weekend with him, and this was back when Dragon Ball Z was on, was that back when like Toonami was at 11 o'clock at night or something like that?
Yeah, definitely on Toonami.
So we had to stay up all night to watch an episode of Dragon Ball Z, and I remember they were in the middle of the, somewhere in the middle of the late Frieza saga.
Yeah.
So like one of the really intense episodes, and I was just like floored. I was like, this is crazy. This is so violent. Because, like, you know, like, that wasn't really a thing.
Yeah.
But that's, like, where it started. You know, he had told me, like, the story up to, like, the Frieza saga. So I had, like, basic information. But from that point on, like, I would just kind of stay the night at his house every weekend and would just watch Dragon Ball Z all the time. And then after that, like, the videotapes came out and it was easier to kind of get a hold of. And then the rest is basically history from that point.
Yeah, your story is very, very similar to mine. Like, I had a friend that lived in my neighborhood, And when on the bus ride to school, he would tell me about this show, and he had like the action figures, and he was just talking about this like nonsense show. And I finally was able to watch it, like you said, on Toonami. And then I started having my mom record it for me on tape. So when I would get home from school, I could watch whatever played the night before. And it was definitely during the Frieza saga as well. And like I remember, like thinking back on it, watching the Frieza saga is kind of like watching like wrestling in the '90s, where like the episodes were just 20 minutes of the characters talking. And there's
For real, yeah.
there'd be like 3 or 4 episodes of them just yelling at each other about who's stronger without actually any fighting. And I thought that was like the craziest thing in like a cartoon. But like once the actual like action started and the fighting, I was just like, this show is nuts. And I was like instantly hooked. I started getting the toys, started just watching the show pretty regularly, basically all the way until Z ended. And then I like later on, like maybe high school, early college, I went back and watched Dragon Ball, which was actually first. But yeah, definitely started with Z, which I think was probably for the best.
No, that's for real. You know, like Dragon Ball itself didn't air in America until after because of the hype of Dragon Ball Z. I think that's right. I'm pretty sure. If it's not, internet correct me. That's fine.
Yeah.
But like Dragon Ball is a different show than Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball is more comedic.
Yeah.
It's less centered on the actual action. It's just a whole different thing, but I love it. I love it for that reason, though.
Yeah, because Dragon Ball, like it's this, all 3 shows are still centered on Goku, who's the main character, and Dragon Ball is when he's like a child. So obviously, like kind of the themes and the tone is a lot different. Whereas like Dragon Ball Z, he's an adult, and the threats are on a grander scale, a
Right.
galactic scale, where Dragon Ball is very much more kind of contained.
That's a good word for it.
Yeah, because it kind of gets ridiculous towards the latter half of Z for sure.
You don't have people like flying around shooting blasts that could destroy planets. Like that's not Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball is just pure
It's more martial arts
silliness,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
tournament arcs.
It's more
Yes.
like I guess human, even though he's not human. He's a Saiyan, but like the combat is more like grounded in more like human reality, I guess.
Oh yes.
And then yeah, Z and Super especially, it just becomes extremely ridiculous, superhero ridiculous. So, but yeah, I think Dragon Ball Z is probably like the best place to start for any newcomer, just because most of the arcs in Dragon Ball Z are on a large scale, and a lot of things can happen, and they're very like entertaining. And there are still like plenty of like goofball moments, and a lot of like really like lovable characters. It's just like the stakes are higher,
Oh, for sure.
And then once you already have like established characters you like, it's good to go back and watch like the origin story, so to speak. But I don't. Since I'm not gonna sit here and give a synopsis of the show, I'm just gonna assume everyone listening already knows about the transformation and the sort of like upgrade hierarchy for all the characters throughout the show. So when we dive into this next part about our favorite transformations, I'm just gonna assume you people know what we're talking about. So sorry, Chelsea. I have to
it's just a common trope in this show. Like you need to be stronger. Well, okay, like the character will transform in order to fit this new power that they need.
Yeah, the whole 3 generations of the show is basically just the main character trying to get stronger and basically forsaking all other responsibilities in life.
Ooh.
That's
the truth.
Yeah, and his journey to become the strongest fighter in the universe. So,
Like, Goku's a husband? A father? No.
Right?
No.
He tries to be a farmer. It's well, yeah. He just likes fighting. That's all he wants to do.
He got his, like, 7-year-old son to farm for him so he could train. Like,
yes, on another planet.
He is so worthless.
Yeah.
This child could not even reach, like, the gas pedals of the tractor.
He's a terrible, like, family figure.
He is not a role model.
But he's like, he's like the savior of the world on countless occasions. So it's like, you have to love him. Or at least appreciate him. It's just, day to day, you're just like, God, Goku, you're such a piece of shit.
Everybody is Vegeta in that sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Until Goku needs to save them, then they're all like, "Oh, only Goku can save us," even though they just called him garbage. And
the next galactic threat, and they're like, "Oh God, we got to get Goku," Threats over and be like, "Oh, Goku, you're such an idiot. What do you
waste of space? Get out."
All you do is eat us out of house and home, and then go somewhere else.
That poor Chi-Chi. Poor Chi-Chi. It's lucky that she likes to do those things.
I wish there was like a spin-off show that just was Chi-Chi's point of view.
Oh my God, I'd watch that so much.
It'd be the most depressing show ever.
Raising 2 kids on her own, trying to put them through school.
Cooking
Husband
dinner
out there not just dying all the time.
Yeah.
Trying to feed a family who can eat the weight of an entire nation by themselves.
Right. How many times has her house been destroyed, either accidentally
by Goku?
By Goku.
By her husband.
Oh, yeah. So, with that being said, we'll dive into our favorite transformations, or just our ultimate favorite transformation. I already know what mine is. Do you have yours?
I'm still kind of going back and forth. Go ahead and hit me with yours.
Mine is, I guess it's definitely kind of basic, but my favorite transformation so far throughout the whole show is the first time Goku goes Super Saiyan in the Frieza Saga.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like the build up to that is like every other transformation doesn't have that sort of anticipation for it.
Well, yeah, because like at the time that it was brand new. Like there wasn't
there wasn't precedent. There wasn't.
You didn't think that was an option to get out of that situation.
Yeah, because it was like, at that point in the story and the universe, it was still like myth or legend that there even were Super Saiyans. Like there was no one before him, to do it. So it was like, oh yeah, no one could do this. Like it's kind of like the one, so to speak.
Right. And they talked about the legendary Super Saiyan so much like during the Frieza saga, but you never would think that like it was going to change the appearance of somebody. Yeah. It's just like, oh, they're just talking about this person. Like that's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah, so when it finally happened, like 3/4 through that Frieza saga, I was like, damn, this is on another level. This show just cranked it up a notch. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be my all-time favorite Like there's other transformations that are obviously stronger and cooler, but I just think like that anticipation, that very first time it happens is like one of the coolest times in the show. Mm-hmm. What do you got?
So I think what I'll go with, mine's gonna be Goku as well. Like, but for me it was the moment that he went to Super Saiyan 3.
Oh, in the Buu saga?
When he was fighting Buu, like, up in the air, and he's just like, no, wait, like, I can do this thing. And, like, we had Super Saiyan 2.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't, that was fine, but didn't just, like, here you go, here's this huge transformation, and then he's just beating Buu around. Like, there's just nothing.
Yeah, and Super Saiyan 2 was kind of not really noticeable, I guess. It wasn't such a drastic visual change.
Yeah, it's only ever been a visual change for Gohan
Yeah.
But everybody else, when they go Super Saiyan 2, it gives them like the electric blue aura, and like that's.
But like when he went
about
Super
it.
Saiyan 3, the dude grew like, you know,
10
hair
feet of
metal.
hair.
Yeah, like hair down to his ankles.
And
then
lost
like
his
he had like
eyebrows, what?
yeah, he had like a Neanderthal kind of like forehead. He was very primal. Like,
Legit.
Super Saiyan 3 is very primal. But yeah, that was yeah, that Boo Saga, damn. That did have some, because that also like started doing like the fusions with the human characters, because we saw fusions before that with Piccolo and
With like the Namekian fusions.
yeah, with the Namekian fusions. But this is the first time you saw like human fusions to make Gotenks, which is pretty badass.
Yeah, I remember like because right after Goku transforms into Super Saiyan 3, beats the tar out of Boo. You know, him using all that energy like makes him run out of time to stay in the land of the living because he's dead at the time.
Yeah.
And then like so he has to leave, and I like maybe like that emotional reaction is tied into the Super Saiyan 3 transformation as far as like remembering.
Yeah.
But you know, like, but that's the great thing. Every time you see something new, there's always something memorable to go along with it.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure when Goku first goes Super Saiyan in the Frieza saga, isn't it fairly like close to when Frieza killed Krillin?
It's right after that,
Yeah, like he lifts Krillin up in the sky and just blows the guy up.
Yep. And Goku just snaps.
Which I remember watching that for the first time as like a kid, and that like shocked the hell out of me.
Right.
I was like, wait, you can't kill characters like that. Especially not Krillin.
Like, you just killed Vegeta, but who cares? Like,
Yeah,
Krillin, no.
Because at that point, Vegeta was still like, he was kind of like new to the good guy side. You know what I mean? Because he was like the villain for like the last, you know,
Forever.
yeah. So
And he's
when
just
he
like,
dies,
like, you have to kill Frieza because he killed all of us.
yeah. So it's like when he died, it's like, all right, well that makes sense. He was kind of a piece of shit, you know. So, but you kill Krillin, and it's just like, all right, this.
Who's never done a wrong thing in his life.
yeah, and he's like a child basically. He has like no fighting ability. He's like 4 feet tall.
Aww.
I love Krillin, but there's a reason why he became a police officer in Super.
It's true.
He realizes that he's like, yeah, I can't keep up with these motherfuckers flying around being gods and whatnot. I can't. I'll worry about street crime.
I can do that. I can be the
handle that.
Daredevil. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you're right. With almost every transformation, it's always like tied to some like either like emotional stimulus or just like, especially in Super when it's like it's more just kind of out of almost just like battle of egos, like you know,
Yeah,
everybody's just
yeah,
trying to
just-
top someone else.
Like, and I was just thinking, I was like, well, the ones in Super though are just kind of like, here you go. Here's a new thing.
They start throwing transformations around in Super like they're nothing. It's just like, oh, I got blue hair. Like, oh, I got red hair. It's like, all right, well, I got, you know, it's just like they just keep. They happen like every 5 episodes, so they kind of start. They start to lose their importance in Super a little bit because they just keep happening all the fucking time.
But you know, I won't blame Toriyama for that. Super for him is he's just trying to have fun. He don't care.
And it shows.
Right?
It definitely shows. Because Super is ridiculous.
Yeah. If he's having fun, we're having fun.
Super is
All's
aptly
good.
named. So, we'll get into that more later.
Right.
All right, I guess it's time. Let's go ahead and move into our top 5 characters.
Oh, man.
Our personal top 5 characters. I have some honorable mentions. Do you want to start with? Do you have any honorable mentions, or you just have 5?
Oh, my honorable mentions may come after the fact.
Okay. All right. Well, let's start with 5 then. Who's your number 5?
Okay, so for number 5, and I know a lot of people are gonna be like, ugh, but ever since like the Boo Saga started, like after Cell Games, I've always loved Goten.
Yeah.
He's such a happy boy who gets to like basically live a normal life. Best friends with Trunks. And like the scene where he meets Goku for the first time during the World Martial Arts Tournament.
Yeah.
Was just sweet as hell.
He's also, I feel like, more like Goku than Gohan was.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like, Goten definitely seems more like a young Goku.
I mean, that's true. Because, you know, like, Chi-Chi kind of got over her crazy parentness with Gohan.
Yeah.
She got what she wanted out of Gohan. And with Goten, like, she's just like, oh, you want to train? I'll train you myself. Let's go out in the front yard. I'll kick your ass. It's fine. Yeah. Which I love.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, I like Goten. He's a good kid. I find him more agreeable than I ever did with Gohan as a kid. Like when Gohan was that age, and like especially like the early days of like the Z, like Dragon Ball Z, like God, Gohan was just fucking annoying, you know?
Right.
Like granted, your kid's like 8 years old and he's seeing some pretty gnarly stuff for an 8-year-old, so I get it, but as a viewer, I'm just like, Jesus, kid, come on. He still has some pretty like badass moments. I'll grant him that.
Yeah, and I do know how everybody's always preaching about like, oh, they ruined Gohan, they made him weak, they blah 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 blah. But you know, like, let the guy live his life. He does what he wants. It's fine.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of respected him more for not following in his father's footsteps.
For real.
Like, as an adult, he's like, no, I'm going to read books and actually be a member of my society and be present with my kid and my wife.
Right.
And you can go off and, you know, do your nonsense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So who is your number 5?
My number 5 is Goku.
Goku. I struggled with that.
Yeah, he cracks the top 5 because he is a grade A badass, but he's also just a dumb piece of shit.
He is. You know? It's the truth. It is.
He's so stupid. He has like no social awareness for anything, and sometimes it's kind of like, especially in Super when they're dealing with like gods and you know, there's like certain decorum that he just doesn't understand. He's just he's just oblivious to all that stuff.
Like no manners, no like sense of surrounding, nothing.
Exactly. He's very tunnel vision in his quest. So like all the quieter moments of the show is like when you hate Goku, but then like when shit hits the fan and everything amps up and it's like Goku in his fighting like hero mode, you're just like, all right, this dude's awesome. Like so for that reason is why he gets the top 5. He just squeaks in there. Like, you know, he is the protagonist of the show, but Jesus Christ, this guy, he's a mess.
You know, Super actually gave me one of my most favorite Goku moments. When I can't remember exactly when it happens, but when him and Vegeta are talking about something, I don't remember, and Vegeta realizes that Goku doesn't know what kissing is.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, "You have 2 kids, and you don't know what that is."
Isn't it when he like breaks into Vegeta's house or accidentally?
Oh,
or
he
whatever?
Accidentally teleports in, and
like Bulma's like getting out of the shower.
Yeah. And Vegeta bursts in because Bulma's screaming.
And then he's like, Kakarot, how do you not know what this is? You have 2 kids.
It's so dumb.
It is pretty funny. Goku's like, ew, you kiss Bulma? Gross. She's old.
And Chi-Chi's over here just like, I know how to get what I want, and he can go away otherwise.
Yeah, their dynamics are very strange to me.
I want to hear the gossiping between Chi-Chi and Bulma on that.
Yeah,
subject.
we need like a real
that conversation.
We need like a Real Housewives with all the.
Add 18 into the mix. Let's just do that
with 18 and Bulma and Chi-Chi.
Oh my God, that's some tea right there.
Yeah, exactly.
let's do that.
Never mind. That's the spinoff I want. like a Sex in the City or whatever with,
Jesus
with all the women of the show. That'd be great.
Well, speaking of my number 4, my number 4 is Bulma.
Nice.
Because she's like, you take Goku out and like, she is the main character.
Yeah. She's been around the entire time.
For sure, right? You know?
Yeah.
That poor lady has had to go through so much crap from so many people, and she doesn't care. She'll slap a god in the face.
She also has plenty of stages of like, wow, I hate Bulma. And then you're like, wow, Bulma's awesome. And then you're like, wow, I love Bulma.
Right?
Like, there's so many phases to the character throughout the show. Because like in Z, especially the Namek saga, like that whole time, you're just like, man, she is just whiny and annoying and like spoiled and dumb.
Well, to be fair, they did take her across space to a whole other dangerous planet and then just completely abandon her.
I mean, yeah, when you put context involved. Everything makes sense with context.
But yeah, I had to give Bulma some love on my list.
Yeah, I agree. My number 4 is Beerus.
He's a great character addition.
He's by far one of my favorite like add-ons to the because at first, like when you're watching Super, you just think Beerus is going to be the next big bad, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then when it just turns out that he's basically just not necessarily part of the crew, but the dude has just stuck around the entire time, always, because he's not only loves human food, but he's curious at Saiyan antics.
Right.
But yeah, I 100% love Beerus and Whis. Like they were like some of the best character add-ons. I love the writing for them. I love their like interaction, just those two. I love Beerus's interaction with Goku because Beerus is basically his opposite. Like, because he's always so mad at Goku for being so damn dumb,
right?
And glib and naive. These are hilarious. And I also love the fact that Beerus just also sleeps all the damn time and just eats all the time, and he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna sleep for 30 years, wake up, blow some shit up, go back to sleep, you know, whatever. Like, I don't know,
that is fair.
He's kind of like sort of a nihilist, but then again, he's kind of not. I don't know. It's kind of hard to peg down Beerus and his like his motivations, so to speak. Because early on, you think that he's just like this all-powerful being that doesn't care about anything, and then you realize, and then when you start meeting the Omni King later on, Beerus is like afraid of him. And he's like,
it's great to see Beerus under pressure for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, oh, okay, this dude does there's a hierarchy here. I like this.
And Goku's still sitting there dumb as hell.
Yeah, Goku's like picking this little like Rugrat up and talking to him and like hugging him and shit. Beerus is like, he's gonna destroy the whole universe.
And Goku gets away with it yet again.
Oh, I love it. It's so good. But yeah. I love Beerus. They're by far one of the best new characters that they put in Super. Mm-hmm. All right, what's your number 3?
My number 3, we've actually already talked about him, so there's not much else to say, but number 3 was Goku.
Yep. Mm-hmm. My number 3 is Trunks.
Teenage Trunks? Or just Trunks as a whole?
I would say Trunks as a whole. Kid Trunks and like adult Trunks, because the first time you see Trunks is in Z, when he comes back in time right before, like basically to kick off the Android saga.
Yeah,
and he first shows up, and you got like a rebuilt Frieza, and you're just when you're watching the show and you're just like, oh shit, Frieza's back. He's like half android or half machine or whatever. And then this Trunks dude shows up. He's got a sword and just like slices them in half, and that's it. The end of it. You're just like, oh wow, this dude is a straight up badass.
For real, yeah. His entrance is
crazy. One of the best. And then, you deal with, you got him through for most of, the Android Saga and Cell and all that stuff. And then you get Trunks again in Super when he comes back in time again to kind of kickstart the Goku Black saga. And, like, I've always sort of liked and adored the fact that Trunks is always, like, the only survivor of every Armageddon.
Poor kid.
You know what I mean? Like, dude is an ultimate survivor. He's always the last one or one of the few remaining, like, actual, like, fighters. He always, like, comes back in a pod and he's like, yeah, everyone's dead in my future. I barely made it out. It's like, Jesus Christ, kid. What
are you doing over there?
And then I also like in Super how Kid Trunks basically has to, like, slap some shit into, like, himself, his future self, to be like, hey, man, you need to grow up, all right? You need to go back to the future and kick this dude's ass. Like, what's wrong with you? Vegeta's
that was
our
a
dad.
good talk.
Like,
Vegeta's our dad, man. Come on.
Vegeta's our dad. Come on, you're embarrassing us.
That is a fact.
I've always kind of appreciated the Trunks is like one of the more like emotional characters out of all the like fighters.
For sure.
So I've kind of always appreciated that too, because he always seems like the most human out of all of them.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
All right, what's your number 2?
Number 2, I went to the villain side of things, and I picked Frieza.
Oh, damn.
Especially, like, Super Frieza. I love how they brought him back, and he is just... They just pulled all the way into that, like, sassy bitch side of Frieza, and I just love that so much.
The one thing that I hated about his reintroduction in Super is the voice is different. Which
well, he's had a different voice actor for quite a long time. But nothing beats that first one, man. Oh my god.
For sure. But I do love how they bring him back in Super and like they show him in like his like version of hell. And he's basically in a cocoon with all these like cute like fairy characters singing to him and hugging him all the day
surrounded by
long.
magic and friendship all the time.
That's like one of the best.
He actively talks about how like this is my personal hell. I hate it.
That may be one of the best. Like it's like one of the best visualizations of like someone's hell. It's just being like loved unconditionally and hugged all the time, singing songs all day. That may have been one of my like favorite like moments of Super, is seeing that.
Now, I know that you haven't seen the new Broly movie yet.
No, I haven't seen Broly.
We need to make a point to do that. I'll bring it over sometime soon. But the Broly movie has like sassy Frieza at his best.
Oh, Frieza's back in Broly?
Yes, he is. I won't spoil anything because you haven't finished the Tournament of Power yet, but he is in that.
Damn.
And he is just wonderful in that movie.
Oh my god. Frieza is like, dude will not die.
Mm-hmm. That true.
But yeah, he is like one of the best villains for like the entire like show. The dude, he's always coming back. And yeah. He also has some of the best transformations too, like his in Z during the Frieza saga, like initially, like his like perfect form, like the first time you see that, it's just I remember I had that version of him as like an action figure, and I thought it was like the coolest thing ever.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I actually don't have any villains on my top 5, but there are some pretty amazing villains in this show.
Who is your number 2?
My number 2 is Bulma. I know
Heck yeah!
Kind of already talked about it, but Bulma may be like one of the most like badass bitches in this show.
She is, and like all of anime. Like she's got this.
Like she is, I had my quarrels with her in Z, at least like the first half. But man, in Super, like she's like slapping gods and shit. She's just like walking up to like fortune tellers or whatever, like demanding shit. Like she's like a super genius. She's like incredibly rich. Like she's like the ultimate like character
that has like, zero. You know what I want for my birthday? A yacht. I mean, not a
Yeah.
yacht. She doesn't buy a yacht. She buys a party boat, like a cruise ship.
She has like a cruise
Like
liner.
the gigantic thing, and she just
Yeah.
does it for kicks. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah, Bulma is... And she has to be a badass because she's married to Vegeta, so...
Jesus
what I mean?
Christ! Oh,
So,
you'd have to be something to be married to him.
And she, like, puts him in his place so often. It's so great.
And he can't do nothing but pout.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I love Bulma. She's the best. All right, who's your number one?
Are we ready for number ones?
You want to do honorable mentions before we do one?
Oh, yeah, let's do honorable mentions. Okay, so my first honorable mention, and really, I forgot about him when I was making my list. Otherwise, he probably would have made it into the top 5. But Whis.
Yep.
Whis all night and day.
Whis is also my first honorable mention.
Ah, very nice.
Like the grouping between, like I kind of went back and forth between Whis and Beerus, but I had to give it to Beerus just because I did like in the Battle of the Gods, like watching Beerus and Goku like battle it out. I thought that was super cool. Some of the just like the animation in that little episode arc was pretty badass too. Mm-hmm. But I do love Whis because he's just so calm and collected all the time.
He takes his own shots at people when he wants to.
Like literally, like Frieza literally destroys Earth, and Whis is like, whatever, we'll just rewind time.
It's fine. It's okay. I got about 20 seconds in me. Let's do it. Let's go.
Like anytime, like he always is just like, oh yeah, we could have just done this, and they're like, what?
Like, why didn't you say something?
Yeah, he's like, I'm busy, you know.
I got my own things going on. Okay.
Yeah,
I got this food to eat over here. You said.
Yeah, I'm over eating crab legs, so yeah, you guys do your thing.
Spends more time eating in that show than Goku does.
And he's always yeah, that's all he does is eat new food. And he's always just like always blown away by like everything. They're like, he's like, oh my god, have you had pizza? This is amazing. Have you had sushi? This is divine. It's like he only shows up just for have Bulma cook for him.
For sure. Well, she knows how to get what she wants too.
Yeah, she's a great manipulator.
Honey him up a little bit, and then, hey, can you do this for me? And he's just like, okay.
He's like, all right, that's fine.
If you don't, the Earth might be destroyed, and you might lose out on all this food. Oh, yeah. Well, we can't have that.
Yeah, that's like quite literally the only reason Earth isn't destroyed is because it's amazing
Bulma.
food. Because Bulma and the food.
Because Bulma. Bulma's a better hero than Goku is. That's the truth in the matter.
Yeah, that's the arc of Super, is you realize that Bulma is the true hero all along.
She has Batman's superpower. Money.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Who's another honorable mention for you?
Let's see. Oh man. I mean, I love Krillin. Poor Krillin.
Yeah,
he gets it too much. But I gotta go with Cell as well.
Yeah,
he's
Cell's
such a great
another
villain.
He is. He was also like probably one of the first villains that was like legitimately like terrifying. Like in Perfect Cell, when he's basically just like a monster.
Yeah, like every time you get a new Cell, like it's a whole degree of terror that you didn't know you had before.
Yeah, because I remember like first watching that saga, and it's just like some of the visuals were super eerie because it would just be like entire like cities, and it'd just be devoid of life besides just like clothing everywhere. Mm-hmm. Because he's just walking around just draining humans.
Oh my god!
Like
that was real scary. It was.
Yeah. Like as like a 10-year-old, you're like, what the fuck is happening?
And I remember by the time I think it was his second form, and Vegeta was fighting him in his new I think he was Super Saiyan 2. I think he was, and he was beating the crap out of his second form, and Cell's just like, wait, like if you want a real challenge, let me go absorb 18. You can fight me in my perfect form. And Vegeta just takes the bait, and he's like, yeah, I'll help you. Let's go get her. Let's go find her. And I remember the second, Perfect Cell appears and just, one-shots Vegeta. I remember, screaming at the screen, because I was, freaking out. I was like, oh, my God, we're dead. Everybody's dead. That's it.
That's also, a perfect point for, the folly of Saiyans is their arrogance. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh yeah, you got another. Yeah, timeout, timeout. I want you to get stronger. It's just like, no, what? Beat him now. just end it. Why do you have to? What are you trying to prove?
Everything.
Like Vegeta and Goku are basically the different sides of the same coin, essentially. So.
Vegeta wants to prove he's the best, and Goku just wants to fight stronger people.
Yeah. Vegeta just wants to prove he's better than Goku. That's really all he cares about.
That's
he
true.
He wants to beat Goku. That's like his only mission in life.
Vegeta. Well, Vegeta's up there in the honorable mention too. Not that he's not a great character. He just didn't fit on my list for today.
Another honorable mention for me is another super character. She doesn't really have too much to do, or like she doesn't really last a whole, in terms of the entire like super. She's only just kind of in one saga.
Is it Pam?
But it's Mai.
Oh, like adult Mai?
Yeah, adult Mai.
Yeah, when I heard
that they were
Mai. Bringing her back, like they're bringing her adult form back, that was so cool because like she has no connection to Trunks.
Yeah,
she's got no reason to be in that situation, but people like Mai, so use her, go for it, have fun.
Yeah, future Mai is pretty much of a badass. She's literally trying to fight gods with like a shotgun.
And she lasts longer than most of the population of Earth. So,
yeah, she literally becomes like the John Connor of humanity. You know what I mean? Like she's like leading this like last bastion of humanity on Earth.
Or he could like look at people and they die on the spot, and she's like, "I'll shoot you. I'll do it."
Yeah, she's like, "I got guns, guns and canned food."
Guns and canned food.
But yeah, like I just thought she was she's just like just another badass female character.
Mm-hmm.
I guess my last honorable mention, real quick, is King Kai. I always loved.
He's so abused all the time.
Yeah, he's like the god equivalent of Krillin. You know what I mean?
That is the truth. Yeah, and he's still dead. That poor guy is still dead.
Yeah,
Goku killed him years ago, and that son of a bitch won't bring his ass back to life because he's rude.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things. Is like after the Goku Black saga, they bring back Shenron, and King Kai's like, "Yes, wish me back," and then like they're all arguing about the wish, and then it just doesn't happen.
And they're all like, "Screw King Kai, you can bring him back anytime," and he's like, "What? No."
And then like they don't wish him back, and Goku's like, "Oh, sorry, King Kai, I'll catch you next time."
Maybe next time. And then King Kai would have murdered Goku on the spot if he could have. Jesus.
And how many times has Goku gone up there to like train and just like completely destroyed his poor
little house?
Yeah, he lives on like a planet that's like a like the size of just like, it's like I don't even know. It's like a house and like a yard, and that's it. That's the whole planet.
He destroys it all training, and then he makes King Kai make him his mountain of food.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, sorry I destroyed your planet. Can you cook for me?"
Abuse. That poor god does not deserve any of that crap. Freaking rude.
And I also love like all his really bad jokes. Like King Kai's the best. He thinks he's like so funny, all his stupid jokes Goku doesn't even get. That's how dumb Goku is.
Well, this may be a fun fact for you. The Japanese King Kai is actually voiced by a very, very old and very famous comedian in Japan.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because I know the English version, it's just the same voice actor for Goku.
Sure is.
Yeah, which is also hilarious.
Right? God. The fact that their voices are connected that way, that's a mess.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all of my honorable mentions. I know there's a plethora of characters in this show, but those are definitely my standouts.
Right. And we haven't talked. Have we hit your first? Like, did
Nope.
we accidentally bring up your first?
I mean, we kind of did. We haven't really talked about it too much, though.
Okay. Well, my first, I just went with, like, he's not in the show or any version of the show very much. He's a special occasions only. But I can't help but love him because he is such, like, he's so freaking cool in anything he's in. But it's Gogeta.
Oh, yeah.
The fusion of Goku and Vegeta, I just, like, every time he's on screen, I'm like, yep. Like, that's it. That's all I needed. That's fine. You know, and he's only ever in, like, movies and stuff, but, like, oh, God,
yeah, he does
so
make
cool.
he makes a brief appearance towards the end of the Goku Black saga. Mm-hmm. And I love, like, their, like, rendition, or, like, how they draw or animate Gogeta, because Goku and Vegeta are both Saiyans, and they're fairly similar, but they do have, like, sort of distinct characteristics in, like, the way they look. So when they do fuse, you can kind of see, like, Goku's kind of dopey self, and then, like, the sharp edges of Vegeta.
For sure, no, for
And
sure.
it's
Like, it's
they
so
do a
cool.
really good job fusing those two. But yeah, my number one is half of Gogeta, and it's Vegeta.
Very nice.
He's
Very
always
nice.
been my favorite character. Like,
He's
even
a
as
good character.
even as a villain, I like his whole, like, redemption. He over Goku is an actual, like, more of a father figure, even though he's definitely a hard ass. But there are, like, brief moments with him and Trunks where it's just like, all right, this dude actually cares about his kid. And same with Bulma. Like, if somebody were to, like, hit Bulma or, like, do anything to her, he's, like, ready to kill some bitches.
Right. Well, and, like, that's the great thing about Bulma, too. That, like, she bullies Vegeta and pressures him into, like, being a quote-unquote better parent.
Yeah.
But she understands him well enough to know if he's doing something that may seem very rash or, like, harmful to Trunks,
Yeah.
he's actually trying to help him, and Bulma understands that.
Yeah,
And
Bulma
she, you know,
understands
she-
Vegeta better than anyone else, and probably better than he understands himself
Oh,
on
for
some
sure.
occasions. Mm-hmm. Which is the best, because when those two first meet in the Namek Saga or whatever, it's just like two people couldn't hate each other more.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, I've always thought that Vegeta has such a cool arc throughout the whole show.
Mm-hmm. I always liked the Majin Vegeta stuff in the Buu Saga.
Oh yeah,
I love that part.
yeah, and I also like one of my favorite moments in a Super is when Captain Ginyu comes back.
Oh my
And
god.
he finally gets out of the frog body and gets, like, that new body. I can't even remember that character's name, but he takes over his body. And Vegeta literally just walks up and just disintegrates him.
He's like, you're not supposed to be here, go away.
Yeah.
We don't
It's
have
like-
time for you.
It's like one of the best moments ever. Ginyu's been through so much shit. He's been, like, lived as a frog for, like, 10 years.
Finally
Finally-
gets out of it.
Finally gets out of there, and he still thinks that he's, like, top dog, and Vegeta's like, motherfucker, I'm, like, 4 Saiyans higher now, so I'm just gonna disintegrate your body so we can move on with this nonsense. Yeah, oh god, I love that moment in the show. It's one of the best. Vegeta also does have, even though he almost never wins any of the fights, but he does have some really, like, badass fights.
And I like Super because it really gives Vegeta more of a chance to shine.
Yeah, for sure.
And I love that. He's not just using, like, a plot device, oh, we have to show how strong this new villain is. So we'll have Vegeta power up, but then the villain will power up, kill Vegeta, moving on to the Goku fight.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Super is definitely more of, like, a Goku Vegeta show as opposed to just, like, Goku only.
Yeah, it, like, starts to look at the
Dynamic
Vegeta,
between those two.
Like,
and
Vegeta,
they have, like,
Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say that they have, like, a weird, like, frenemy, like, bond.
Oh, yeah. They start
Which is-
training together and
Yeah.
reaching for the same goal together, and I think that helps a lot.
Yeah, like when they go to when they train with Whis, and like one of their tasks is like trying to like change the sheets on Beerus's bed while he sleeps, and Goku's such a fucking oaf. Vegeta's like, I will fucking kill you if you wake him up. I'm pretty sure like Beerus like sneezes or whatever and like blows up a planet or some shit. Or whatever, like shoots a blast that, like, just blows through the wall or whatever. Mm-hmm. And Vegeta's like, "You Kakarot, you piece of shit! What are you doing?" I love it.
It's so, like, just seeing, I hope we get a lot more of that in the future. It's so great.
Yeah, 100%.
I love how Super, like, it grabs Goku and Vegeta, and with Vegeta, you get a lot more of his positive personality traits,
Yeah,
and how
for
he
sure.
really is in a way better than Goku. And then with Goku, you get the opposite. You get a
Yeah.
lot of his negative traits and how
Yeah.
that affects, in
Yeah.
some cases, the entire universe.
Yeah.
Just simply because he wants to fight stronger people, and he'll just kind of do whatever he wants until he gets to that point.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that.
And like Vegeta wants to get stronger, but he would never endanger the lives of one person, especially not the whole universe.
Yeah, Vegeta is in the sense where he's only arrogant for himself. He never like is trying to put anyone else in danger
Right.
for his own betterment. Goku's like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. We'll destroy
That
the
sounds
universe.
fun.
Yeah.
I don't see how this could turn out bad at all.
Yeah, exactly.
And then everything he does turns out bad.
Yeah. But yeah, for that reason, yeah. And like even when Vegeta first showed up in the in Z and the Saiyan saga as like a villain, even it's like kind of like a punk. I'm just like, man, this dude's like a badass. Like those fights back then with just like Vegeta and Goku before they were Saiyan or like Super Saiyans, those were cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. With that being said, I guess we'll move on to. So a big part of the show is the actual Dragon Balls, which are just basically magical orbs. There's 7 of them, and if someone finds them all and collects them all, they can call upon Shinron, who is a giant cosmic dragon, essentially, and he will grant you a wish. So, Wade, if you had the 7 Dragon Balls, what would be your wish?
Oh man, I thought a lot about this, and like this is such a difficult thing for me to think of in my head because I don't wish for a lot of things in general. I don't really have a lot of ambitions. There's not much that I want that I don't kind of already have. So I kind of came up with 2 things. It would either be like a super selfless thing, like end world hunger or something to that effect, or it would be something extremely wasteful, like like a world supply of M&Ms or something like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
it wouldn't be anything. It would either be grand and helpful, or it would be just I'd be oolong in this situation and just completely waste it.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you.
I see it. Like, because when I was thinking about it too, I was thinking of also like some of the more the selfless acts, where it's like, oh, world peace, or like you said, like world hunger. But like objectively speaking, if that shit happens, it's always going to lead to other dire consequences that we can't even perceive right now.
Yeah.
Like if we end world hunger, then the population's gonna rapidly go out of control, and then we'll kill the planet. You know what I mean?
And here we go adding logic to things again.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then I started thinking of more like selfish endeavors, or it's like the inevitable like genie in the bottle questions, like, oh, I want like a lot of money, or I want superpowers and shit like that. But then you start thinking objectively, like all those are gonna lead to negatives ultimately. You know what I mean? Like all these things are kind of like a monkey's paw situation.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So I thought of something that's sort of a power, but it doesn't necessarily give me any more of like, it doesn't make me, it's not really like a superpower that like makes me stronger or better than anybody. It's more of like a power that kind of just gives me something to do in social situations, because I'm a very socially awkward person. So I thought I want the ability to, I haven't decided if through touch or just through like close proximity to somebody, but I want to be able to access their dreams that they've had.
Oh, interesting.
Like, I don't want to read minds, because then it's going to turn into like they're judging me and shit, and then I'm going to become even more insecure because I'm going to know what they're saying about me. Like, I don't want any of that.
Yeah, we've seen that movie a lot.
But yeah, exactly. But dreams, that's interpretive. So that's basically just giving me like a puzzle to do. It's just like a visual. It's like doing like cryptograms, but with people's subconscious.
I dig it. I dig it.
So I kind of, because then it also, if I ever do figure it out, like what it means, like, a lot of people have shit rooted in their subconscious. If they even remember their dreams, they can't fully understand them. But if I can like access them in full clarity, and I have, in whatever amount of time to sit there and piece it together, I can learn more about a person than they even know about themselves.
Dangerous.
It could be, but I have to figure this shit out too. Some people's dreams are nonsense. So
you could like be a psychologist and help people with their problems.
I could be a very successful therapist, or a very bad one.
To be frank, you start talking like that, and everybody's really just going to be uncomfortable around you.
Probably, yeah. I shouldn't lead with the fact that I can access their dreams.
Day one. Well, I see that you had a dream about your grandparents yesterday. Yeah. Let's start there.
Like, you would not believe the amount of sex dreams my clients have. It's all that people dream about anymore. Yeah. Come to think about it, that may be weird. That may go places.
Yeah, you may be hurting yourself in that situation more. Giving yourself some trauma there.
Maybe. All right, I say we move on to the Mount Rushmore. For you listeners who've been with us since, I guess, at least episode 4 or 5, when we did a Mount Rushmore for the Pixar films, general concept here is we're just taking all the sagas, we listed them all out, and we're just going to find the best 4. If they're not ranked 1 through 4, it's just flat out like these are the Mount Rushmore sagas. So we have a fairly esoteric list here. This is kind of the sagas how we see them. There's definitely going to be some room for interpretation with the fan base, but fuck it, whatever. So I'm going to go through. I'm just going to read the sagas out, and Wade, you can go first in either nominating one that we can get rid of, or nominate one that you think belongs on the Rushmore.
Okay.
So I'll read through them right here. We have the Emperor Pilaf saga, the Red Ribbon Army, the Piccolo saga, the Saiyan saga, the Namek saga, the Frieza saga, the Android saga, the Cell saga, the World Tournament, the Boo saga, Battle of the Gods saga, the Universe 6 saga, Goku Black, and the Tournament of Power saga.
Now, just a quick note. Some of you probably realized that, GT's not on the list. Well, we decided to cut GT from at least today's episode because technically GT is not canon. Yeah. Technically. We're playing the technicality card.
Yeah, we're going to say that's more like multiverse.
Like, GT's got some cool stuff. It's got some cool moments. But a lot of people in the Dragon Ball community are just kind of like, meh.
Also, since nothing in GT is ever for the most part referenced in the actual main show run, it's it's also kind of eliminated for that.
Mm-hmm. So if you love GT, we hear ya, but it's not on the list today.
Yeah, maybe next time Chelsea takes a vacation, we'll do a GT episode.
Get some Super Saiyan 4 up in here.
Oh, there we go.
All right, so
I get your first nomination.
I think I'm going to take one off the list. We'll go ahead and start with this one, okay. Mostly because you haven't seen it yet, and it's not in my Mount Rushmore anyway. It's great, but I don't think it's up there quite yet. But let's go ahead and get rid of the Tournament of Power arc.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm really excited to finish it. I just started it basically, but I am planning on finishing it. But yeah, for those that makes sense to take it off.
We can go back later and we can talk about that and see how you enjoyed it.
Yeah, for sure. So that makes sense. I'll go ahead and go ahead and get rid of that one.
Ba-bam.
I'm also going to nominate one for removal, and that's going to be the World Tournament. just because it's not the most highlight worthy of endeavors.
Mm-hmm.
So
No, I really enjoy the World Tournament arc, but that's mostly because it's like the beginning of like a new quote unquote series. You get a lot of like
yeah,
quiet, personable moments out of it, but I can see why it wouldn't be in our Mount Rushmore.
it definitely has character growth, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's not enough standout just like moments that I would think kind of best represent the show as is.
Indeed.
Like the World Tournament's definitely not one of those.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I agree.
go ahead and remove that. All right. So what do you?
Okay.
What do you got?
I think I'm gonna remove another one.
All right.
And I'm looking right now. I'm looking at the Emperor Pilaf saga, the very very beginning of Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Dragon Ball, by the way, folks, go watch it. It is hilarious. Especially like when Goku meets Bulma for the first time and doesn't know what a girl is.
Hey,
Great conversations ensue. So go do yourself a favor. Go check it out.
God,
Go check it out. A lot of inappropriate stuff happening in those first 10 episodes or so. It's a great time.
I feel like Goku still doesn't fully understand.
Well, no, probably not. Probably not. And also, Dragon Ball Master Roshi is best Master Roshi.
Yeah, because honestly, the older and longer Master Roshi's been around, the like, I feel like the worst he gets.
Kind of. And, he just kind of rehashed the same character.
Yeah.
Although, this is for later, but he is in the Tournament of Power, so
Yeah,
you do get a lot of really cool stuff with him there.
I was gonna say, like, one of the things that is also pretty cool about the show, at least for Super, is how each like new arc has like a new intro song.
Oh yes, and they're
And
all
some
wonderful.
some of them are bangers.
Yeah.
Like some of them are pretty good songs.
now
like
you-
I get excited when the theme intro comes on.
Do you? I can't remember. I know you're like in like the exhibition match of the Tournament of Power. Did you get the new one there?
Yeah.
Like where it just is the Tournament of Power stuff.
Yeah.
It's the final one, and God, that one is so freaking good.
Really?
Yeah, that song is amazing.
Yeah, it's also like I think it's like it feels like the longest.
It might be
like the tournament of power like intro.
Oh, yeah, it like you have it throughout the entire arc and some stuff that comes before it. So, yeah, I see what you mean.
But I mean, like just like the intro song itself seems like the longest, which is not a bad thing because it's a badass song.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely seems like it's like 5 minutes long.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes,
but I'm fine with it. Some of those intros are awesome. But yeah, I definitely saw like in that opening that Master Roshi was one of like the fighters. I'm just like, all right, this dude.
I do hate how that intro spoils a lot of like, oh, who are they gonna choose?
Yeah, that's true.
I do hate that, but like it's Dragon Ball. It's fine. It's being spoiled in Dragon Ball is not exactly like the worst thing in the world. So
yeah, for sure.
All right, so you're gonna take one out.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Dragon Ball and like take away the Red Ribbon Army.
Okay.
Just because, same reason as like the World Tournament. It's like there's a lot of stuff that happens with the Red Ribbon Army, and it's by far. I guess it's not the most. It's probably the longest because I don't think the Piccolo one is as long.
It's so long. The Red Ribbon Army has like so many little like subsections to it. It is really long.
It's almost like there's like 3 sagas involved in the Red Ribbon Army.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I just feel like I don't know. In terms of Mount Rushmore for like the show as a whole, I just don't think it's gonna be up there.
Man, trying to pick a. Oh man. Okay, so I'm not gonna take away from the list, but I'm gonna try to promote one to the Mount Rushmore list because I can't make up my mind on what I want to cut next. I don't want to like. I don't want to throw something out and then be like, oh god, that was the wrong decision. But I will nominate the Cell Saga as one of our Mount Rushmore.
I'm not even going to argue with you on that one because
Okay,
Cell
great.
Saga is badass.
Like, there's just so many freaking cool things. You have, like, it starts out as, like, a horror show.
Yeah.
And it's just, just so much. So much.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think the Cell Saga is one of the highlights of Dragon Ball Z as a whole. Like, I think Cell's, like, one of the best villains. His transformations, because he basically turns from, like, a hideous, like, monster, and, like, his perfect form, he's almost like, he's, like, incredibly articulate, and he's very, like, calm in demeanor.
He's so fancy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
He's such a gentleman.
Yeah, he's like like an alien in a tuxedo.
It's like, I so terribly hate to inconvenience you, but I'm just going to have to destroy the planet now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's the voice. The voice is, I think, really the thing that, like...
Yeah, for
that
sure. He's
does
like
it.
yeah, like you said, he's like a gentleman. It's just like, wow, he's so... Why do you have to be evil?
Like, and then there's Frieza, who's also kind of a gentleman. Like, he has wonderful manners, but he's kind of a psychopath, so...
Yeah, he's definitely more of just like the typical like warlord.
Mm-hmm. Upper class.
Yeah,
Upper class.
For a 1%er.
He truly is the 1% in the universe. He don't care.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, your turn. Are you going to cut or add?
I think I'm going to cut.
Okay.
And
as the list gets shorter, it's harder because you're afraid you're going to make too deep of a cut.
Yeah, right. Well, since there's some big players on here, so I'm gonna go ahead and say the Namek Saga.
Okay.
Just because I feel like that's almost the last one here on this list that doesn't really have a standout villain. Like, you got the Ginyu Force, which is fine, but they're really just kind of like an appetizer for Frieza.
They really are. They really are. I'm okay with that. Cut it.
Awesome.
Moving on. Oh, making life difficult.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, here we go. You made a hard decision. I'm going to make a hard decision back. I'm going to go with the Universe 6 Saga.
I'm fine. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
It's a great little mini tournament arc.
Yeah.
You meet
And
Champa. Like, come on, man. Champa.
Yeah, Champa's great. But like once it actually gets to the tournament itself, most of the fights are pretty fucking lame besides Goku and Hit.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Vegeta's fighting basically like a cotton gin or whatever.
Right.
And then you got Beerus's like joke fighter that's basically just a delivery guy.
Poor guy.
You know, that like has like a heart attack or whatever when he gets there. So
fake motivation for Goku all the way.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Your turn.
Boom. Well, there's one on here that I don't really like, but I respect its merits. So
Is it
I'm not gonna mess.
is it the Boo Saga?
It's the boost.
Don't touch the Boo Saga yet. I'm not ready. We can have that conversation later, but not yet.
So, with that being, oh man. All right, well, I'll take the easy way then. How about I nominate the Frieza Saga?
Okay.
All right.
Deal.
Because just because I feel like there's so much that happens in the Frieza Saga that kind of takes the show to a whole new level.
That is true. That is true. Can't argue with that. Okay. Oh man. I'm eyeing two, but I'm not sure which one I'm gonna aim at first. They're both very, very close to each other. Um, and they have important parts to them, but I don't particularly care for them themselves anymore, just because so much has come after, and that doesn't really matter to me.
Okay.
I'm gonna say the Saiyan saga.
Yeah. I mean, out of the remaining Z sagas, because you got Saiyan, Android, and Boo, I definitely think Saiyan is the lesser.
And I hate to do it. I really do.
Yeah, because, I mean, honestly, I really like Raditz as a villain, because, like, when he first shows up, you just, like... I also had him as an action figure, so... like, Raditz was, like, a really cool... Because I was also, like, really early on in Z, so it's like he was, like, one of the first, like, actual, like, big bads.
He just comes to Earth and just beats the crap out of Goku and Piccolo like he don't even care.
Yeah. So... But, yeah, Alright, we'll take away the Frieza saga.
Okay. What's next? What are we axing next?
Oh. Man.
It's tough. It's a toughie.
Yeah,
it's a toughie.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Close your eyes and throw a dart if you need to. Maybe not at your screen, but, you know, imaginary.
I mean, I'm kind of with you on so much has happened since this one, and it introduces, like, an amazing character that sticks around for basically the entire time for the show, but as it goes on, he sort of loses his importance. So
I think I know who you're talking about.
So I think I'll say the Piccolo.
Yeah.
Piccolo saga.
Although Piccolo is like, best dad.
Yeah, for sure. And Piccolo is like just a really good character.
For sure.
A really good character. But there's just some better. And I think Piccolo also he gets better as like Z and Super, or like Z goes, as opposed to when he is evil. So yeah, take away the Piccolo saga.
Okay, all right. I think I'm ready too. I'm looking at the Battle of the Gods saga.
Yeah.
And in which case, I'm only comparing it to the remaining Super saga.
Yeah.
And if I had to pick between the Battle of the Gods and Goku Black, I gotta go with Goku Black. Like, as better.
Yeah. The only so the Battle of the Gods is twofold, because it's the introduction of Beerus and Whis, which are amazing characters,
of course,
and it also brings back Frieza and his god form. You also get the god transformations, which are great, and it also has some of the coolest fights, because it's like God Goku and Beerus like fighting in like space with like basically like ethereal powers.
That's true.
So like some of the animation in that saga is pretty badass. And I almost think Battle of the Gods is better than Goku Black, only because Goku Black kind of ends in sort of like a cheap way. Because they don't actually defeat the villain, they just have the Omni King show up and just snap him out of existence.
The entire universe out of existence.
Yeah, he's like, oh, well, let's just go ahead and eliminate this universe, you know. Everybody gets one. So, even though I think Goku Black and Zamasu, like, and that whole, like, storyline is, like, dark as shit, and some of the fighting where they get, like, you know, they're making like energy swords and energy scythes and just some pretty gnarly stuff. Some of the fighting is pretty amazing. I also feel like it's probably one of the like more. It probably has like one of the worst endings, just because it doesn't feel good to have someone else just finish your fight for you, I guess.
Like in a way, it's like, well, we need a way to showcase Zemo's powers.
Yeah.
The fact that he really can just knock everybody out.
Yeah.
But and it's a shame that they had to use Goku Black to do that.
Because I feel like it's also kind of counter to what makes the show great, where like the Goku always kind of finds a way in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And like that was the first time he wasn't able to. So, and that, like, once I got to that finale, I was kind of like underwhelmed, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's got some badass moments, like when, like, hell, I mean, Goku and Vegeta didn't even really like stand a chance. It was Trunks making an energy sword, at like a spirit bomb energy sword, and slicing Zamasu in half, or the fusion of Zamasu and Black in half, and then just kind of created a Zamasu pestilence for the universe.
Mm-hmm, that's true.
So
I did fanboy really hard when Vegito went Super Saiyan Blue. Like, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there are a lot of standout moments, which kind of makes the ending feel worse, because you're almost expecting like this amazing, like, climactic, like, how are they going to pull this shit off? And then it was kind of just like, they didn't. So, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's my only hang up with Black.
Okay.
Because I feel like they almost like, they kind of wrote themselves into a corner by making Zamasu immortal. Where they're like, I feel like halfway through that arc, they're like, maybe we fucked up here, guys. Maybe we made him too powerful.
I love the mystery though behind like figuring out who he is, though. Like, that was really cool.
Oh yeah, for sure. I didn't like how many times they got to just keep traveling back.
They went back and forth through time a bunch.
Like, they would like travel forward, get their ass kicked, travel back, heal, go back, do it again, come back, heal. Like, if you're like one of the future citizens, and you just keep seeing these like guys from the past come, and you're just like keep losing and going back, you're just like, what the fuck? Like, what is happening here?
Will you all just kill this guy? Kill me, please. One of the two.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I feel like Goku Black had like some of the highest peaks of the show, but also some of the like the lowest valleys, if that makes sense.
Okay, well,
so maybe table that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I can side with Battle of the Gods too. I can do that. We can keep that. We'll cut Goku Black, and we can keep Battle of the Gods for now.
Okay. So
we got 3 more, but only 2 more places. So one of them's got to go.
Well, even though I don't, this kind of hurts me a little bit, because, but since you were willing to cut Goku Black, I think I'm willing to cut this. But how about we put the Buu Saga and Battle of the Gods on the Rushmore, and we cut the Android Saga?
Oh, tragic. But I can do that. I can do that.
And we'll call it.
Ceasefire.
Because like I personally think the Android Saga is better than Buu, but there's a lot of shit that happens in the Buu Saga that gives it merit. I just don't like Majin Buu.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who don't really care for the Buu Saga, and I never felt that their complaints about it were like bad. You know, like, it's okay. Like, I really like the Buu Saga for a bunch of reasons, and people don't like the Buu Saga, usually for different reasons, but sometimes for the reasons that I like it. So, like, It's fine. Like, it's, you know, it is what it is.
Like the Buu, I like Kid Buu, and like I said, I like the fusions. I like Majin Vegeta. I like some of the more, like, it kind of starts getting a little bit more cosmic in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But I fucking hate Innocent Boo or Fat Boo or however you know what I mean, where he's just like a dumb child. Mm-hmm. It's the most annoying nonsense ever. And
I do a terrific Boo impression, but I won't do it on camera. I'm not ready for that
yet. And like he's still around in Super, but he's in such small doses that I can tolerate it.
Yeah, he doesn't show up a whole lot.
Yeah, but he is like a formidable villain. I just can't with him.
I got a lot of similar sensations out of parts of the Boo saga that I did with the Cell saga, like in that form of like fear and terror.
Yeah.
But none of that really happened until like after Fat Boo was gone and we had like Super Boo. Because Super Boo was just ruthless.
Yeah,
he killed every single person on the planet with one attack.
Yeah.
He sat there and he sensed the life force of every single human on the planet, and then sent a stream of billions of energy blasts out, and just killed them all. And it was just like, there you go, everybody's dead.
It's moments like that will always like elevate it for me, but just like there's God, it was such a hard watch for me to like want to push through a lot of the a lot of that show was me just kind of like knowing that it was going to get better or hoping it was going to get better, so just kind of forcing through it. Mm-hmm. Where I didn't really, that was like the first time I ever had that problem in the show, because with Frieza and the androids and Cell, like I was always eager to watch the next episode. Like I was just super excited. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have, with Boo, I was just like, fuck, when is this gonna like climax? You know?
Well, I mean, luckily you kind of get like 6 climaxes in the Boo saga, because so many times they're like right on the verge, and then nope, something happens.
That's another thing, is I feel like the Boo saga is also like really fucking long.
It is for sure. You find different versions of Boo, but like it's still Boo.
Yeah. All right, so with all that being said, our Mount Rushmore for Dragon Ball Z Super, all of it, is the Cell saga, the Frieza saga, the Boo saga, and the Battle of the Gods. Is our Mount Rushmore. So there you go. It's official.
So
no comments.
Like before we created our own Mount Rushmore, Ethan, did you have like other sagas on your list that didn't make it?
I mean, mine was definitely, I had Cell, Frieza, and I had when we first announced that we were going to do this episode, I had Goku Black on there, and then when I finished Goku Black, I took it off.
Oh, because of the ending?
Because of the ending.
That's tragic.
So I was like, man, this is a lame-ass ending.
That is unfortunate.
But I thought, like there was a lot of really amazing stuff in Goku Black, but I definitely had like Cell, Frieza, and Android for sure. But once I kind of sat there and thought about the Battle of the Gods and Goku Black, I realized that Battle of the Gods was just kind of more fulfilling, I guess. Because not only did you get to see Goku and Beerus, like literally Goku becoming a god and fighting another god, and some of those fights in space are just fucking cool.
It's true.
But then getting Frieza back in his god form was also cool, even though it was like pretty short, which is kind of nice because the original Frieza saga felt like 50 years. So it was kind of nice that they kind of just like, hey, let's wrap this up in like 4 or 5 episodes. You know?
See, I also had the Android saga on mine. But I also had 2 that we got rid of pretty early. That being the World Tournament saga. Just because it's like reintroduction, it's quieter moments.
It's definitely a character.
Something that I really like that nobody really talks about. I love the introduction of the Supreme Kai.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he shows up, and everybody's just like, whoa, who is this guy who seems to know all these things? And he's like, oh, you know King Kai? Well, like, I'm like his boss. And it's just like, what? Now, of course, he got steadily more useless as the series went on. Like, basically, like, once he fused with Kibito, like, that was it. Like, that was the end of that.
It's also kind of nice, at least in Super, where they start giving more like historical context and and like backstory for all the different Kais and all the different universes and like their hierarchy and all that stuff.
I
and
really
like,
loved
with
that.
Goku Black, they started doing like the time rings, and like it was a pretty like pretty in-depth look at like the system they have for their like deities.
I love
You
when
know?
shows like Dragon Ball go further in depth into their lore. Like, not because they have to, but they just decide they want to do it, so let's go do it.
Yeah. Because it's always something that's like, it's definitely like present, but it's never really like understood because you're dealing with, for the most part, mortals all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So then when the mortals start becoming like recognized by gods, it's like, all right, now we have to, flesh out their hierarchy and all their like comings and goings.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like one of the best things about Super as a whole.
The other saga that I had on there was actually the Red Ribbon Army saga.
I mean,
mostly. Go ahead.
No, go ahead since it was on your list.
Mostly because like it's the first time in the series that Goku like really takes a look at himself and it's like, oh crap, I do actually need to get stronger. Like, it's not the first time he's trained. He's trained throughout the entire thing, but it's just like, oh, like, I want to do the martial arts tournament. Better go train for that. But, like, when he's actually fighting enemies, that it's like, oh crap, like, there's stakes. Like, it opens up the world a lot for Goku. He meets so many cool people that are still, like, in the series at the end, and I really like that it gave it, like a good guy versus a bad guy feel.
Yeah, it was kind of the catalyst that led him down this this path.
Yep.
But yeah, I think we made a good Rushmore.
I think so.
For like, especially for like if you're a newcomer to this series, like these four sagas are definitely some of the best in terms of villains, in terms of animation, highlights, battles, like all that stuff.
Great fights, great highlights. Like, there's stuff that happens before the Frieza saga, but all the stuff that happens before the Frieza saga gets summed up every 10 episodes. So like, you're not missing anything. You're really not.
Yeah, because that's another thing about this show is almost all the dialogue is essentially just like exposition and reiterating things you already know.
It's like Naruto before Naruto was a thing.
Yeah, it's a very easy show to like jump in the middle of because they like kind of like explain they like all the characters kind of explain everything like you're 5.
You can kind of be a little brain dead to watch this show. It's not about the smartness of the show. It's just, hey, I like the fights.
It's about the excessiveness.
Yeah, the excessiveness. Yes,
that's 100% what it is.
It's true.
Well, I think we wrapped that up.
There we have it.
Got that out of our system.
Chelsea can stop complaining at us now.
Yeah.
Not that everything still won't circle back to Dragon Ball.
Yeah, 100% will, especially when the new season of Super starts at some point, hopefully.
Ethan, I think we just found our title. It always circles back to Dragon Ball.
It always circles back to Dragon Ball.
We've been saying it since the first episode, folks. Be there.
We have. This has been a tease from the beginning.
And wherever Chelsea's at, she feels a disturbance in the Force.
Oh, yeah. She's definitely not sleeping right now.
She's going to see this episode and be like, God damn it.
She's like, I'm never leaving again. This is what happens.
I go somewhere and everything falls apart.
Well, do you want to sign us out, Wade?
Sure, absolutely. Well, folks, I hope that you all liked our finally Dragon Ball episode. So if you did, please be sure to like and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts, so that you don't miss out on the next episode. Please also take a second to write us a review, email us, let us know, drop us a comment on Facebook or on Twitter, wherever you can find us. We would love to interact with you more. We also have a Discord that, we have so many nerdy categories set up. Come and share your love for practically anything. But
it's pretty open.
Yeah, it's like we're here for it, folks. So if you have any questions, feel free to email us at demasteredpodcast@gmail.com. And thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys.